Alright, listen up. Today is a very special day. This is a highly requested video. Types of nerds. We're here, we're doing it. There's so many different types of nerds on this planet. Some good, some bad, and some will steal your IP address. So first up, we're gonna start with the corrector, because this one's just way too iconic to skip over. Because bro will literally sit there on his couch with the little ass prints in it because he's been sitting there for so long, writing a whole paragraph correcting this video. Correcting whoever. They just want to be right. It just fuels their ego or something. It's like they can't be wrong ever. They just go out in the world and correct people and try to seem smart. That's it. That's their whole business model. Like, there's a difference between simply correcting someone and then there's the nerd. They're a complete douche about it. They just get their ego involved and their nerdy brain. And that's why it turns into a passive-aggressive paragraph directed at you. Next, we have the nerd that lives in his mom's basement. Now, it's an iconic meme or whatever on the internet that fat, greasy nerds live in their mom's basement in their 30s. They don't really grow up. They don't get a job. They don't really move out. They don't get a wife. They have anime body pillows with questionable stains all over them. And who even knows what other anime waifu collectibles they have? That's like the biggest don't do in life, is live in your mom's basement in your 30s. With no wife, no job, no funds, no kids, no nothing. That would suck. Like, it's different if you're working on your situation, but if you're just sinking in your gaming chair, then no, you're getting cooked. And speaking of gaming chair, next we have the hardcore gamer. Now, it's no question that if you run into this guy in the game, you're most likely getting your dome piece knocked off. You could say goodbye because he's headshotting you across the map. That's how many hours this guy has in game. Now, we've all ran into an occasional sweat or like a hardcore nerd, and you could tell by either their KD or how fast they kill you. Like, you could blink your eyes and boom, you're dead like within a second. And the game's not fun for everyone anymore because there's a nerd in the lobby that is 10k hours on the game. And if you're even more lucky, this dude will hack or DDoS you and try to get some unfair advantage in the game if he's willing to cheat. And speaking of, that's also on my list, the hacker slash DDoSer. If you get into beef with the DDoSer, you could say goodbye to your internet. And because you outplay them, they'll shut off your internet by any means necessary. Or they'll turn on their cheating mods in game or something, or hack you. And right before they're about to delete you or hack into your account, they'll send you some passive-aggressive message like, "Toodaloo, buddy. Have fun being hacked, Michael Stevens." And then boom, you're cooked. And all you can say to your parents is, yeah, some toxic nerd DDoSed me. And they won't even know what you're talking about. And on that note of DDoSing, we gotta talk about IP address nerds. Yes, this had to be its own segment because there's so many nerds online that have these IP links and these systems that can track your computer's IP address if you click on it. So don't click on any sketchy links because who knows, you might be Eugene's next victim. Okay, pause. That sounded horrible. Or some people will just act like the IP address nerd to just scare you into thinking they know where you live, even though they only have like an approximate location.
Oh, so you live in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Then what? You just awkwardly sit there like, what do you want me to do? Like, be scared? Like, oh my god, Eugene! Like, what would I even do in that situation? But how you can get yourself out of that situation is by installing NordVPN. Okay, you thought I was sponsored. You were getting ready to skip. You were getting ready. Yeah, not actually sponsored, by the way. But imagine, though. But seriously, be careful out there. Who knows who you'll even run into. Next, we have the kid in marching band that always makes those meme references. Okay, that was a little too specific. But there's always one nerd that's always referencing the latest and greatest, or maybe the most dead meme, or overused meme. Like, this shit is just annoying. Like, they're probably the type of person to say all those brain rot terms in real life. They're the type to go, "I'm the skibbity sigma Rizzler," and expect laughs. Like, maybe you'll get one or two laughs at the first time you say it, but these nerds just reference the same memes over and over again and think it's peak humor. Next, we have the gooner. All right, this dude needs to not interact in real life. All right, I think he needs to just keep his door closed. This type is just unhinged. You don't want to interact with this guy because he's going to talk about his gooning streak to 18 plus anime or whatever it is. And if you go in his room or his goon cave, that shit's going to reek. This is probably the most pathetic type on the list. Next, we have that one sweaty kid in school. Now, we all know this motherfucker. They're always molding about a 99 instead of 100. Like, they'll literally complain even if they get a good grade. It doesn't matter. They won't just shut up and take the good grade because their report card's gotta be perfect. No employer's gonna go up to you and say, "Oh, you only got a 98 on that chemistry test?" pathetic. You're fired. Yet no one cares about that one chemistry test you took in 10th grade. So 1 point isn't gonna make that much of a difference. Like, you're better off putting that try-hard energy towards something else. And these people have the highest GPAs in the school. Their noggin looks like Roger from American Dad. And they could just store infinite knowledge without any consequences. Next, we have the... Sorry, I can't take this part serious. But we got the villain arc nerd. Now, no one takes anybody who says they're on their villain arc serious, ever. Like, you can't tell me with a straight face with 100% seriousness that Cornelius is on his villain arc and he's gonna show me one day. The fuck did I do to Cornelius? I guess they feel like their little baby thinking they have something to prove, even though no one gives a shit. And how do they even get to this villain arc point where they go super nerd mode and trying to get revenge on those who have wronged them? Well, a girl will reject them and say, sorry, no. And now Cornelius is ready to maul and fuck up the streets. He's now walking around with that, quote, badass personality. They're just playing into the Joker aesthetic to the point where it's like hella corny. And they'll just act super edgy and opium, all because a girl rejected them and said they were too nice. And speaking of being overly nice, next we have the simp slash the nice guy. Now, if you're a normal functioning human being, you're kind to people. Unless you got beef with them or something. But these nice guys are overly nice to the point where it's actually corny. They're simping so hard. They are so obsessed. They're nerding out about this girl. And this dude will go on a whole love story about this girl, how he
Had flowers for her waiting in the limousine as we went to our date.
Nobody wants to hear about that. They just yap all day about this girl. They compliment her like 24/7 to the point where she's like, yeah, thank you. But yeah, there's a huge difference between simp and just doing something nice. For instance, trying to get Twitch streamers' attention by paying them thousands of dollars. But if you like hold the door open, you can't tell me I'm simping. Like, seriously? Like, how am I even trying to garner their attention within multiple attempts? Like, I'm just holding a door open, that's it, and I'm moving on with my day. But that's really how they operate, though. They just try to get attention any way they can, but it always fails. Next, we have the grease ball. Ugh. All right, this dude's got to take a shower. This dude's hair is always greasy, no matter what. And the skin just looks very, very sweaty. Henry, showering once a week is not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to do a little more than that. You could be within a 5-mile radius of the grease ball and you'd still be able to smell him. Like, this dude's living in a cartoon. He's probably got the whole smoke cloud around him. Like, that shit's just floating around him. Like, all I gotta say about the grease ball is you gotta hit the shower. Next, we have the Discord mod. Now, we're not gonna talk about all the, quote, kittens in his Discord server, because that terminology is just so weird. Like, why are you referring to girls as kittens? Like, that shit is just odd, bro. I'm running away if you say my kitten. And this person is a certified Discord merchant. Their status, it's always set to online because they're always on. They fall asleep in their chair, wake up after like 4 hours. And they're the biggest ops in the Discord server because they're on that power trip timing. They're not at admin status yet, so they're policing anybody that sends memes in general.
The dark no memes in general, or my kitten and I will be very angry.
Like, do they even get sunlight? Like, how do these people even live? Like, you gotta be more like, I don't know, the bookworm or something, for instance. Just now, I use Discord from time to talk to friends on there, but they make Discord their whole life. Then we have the hyper analyst. Yeah, I find this shit so annoying. And they'll sit there and be like,
well, if we take a look at this situation here, the duck, I think you are just an edgy teenager trying to cope with the fact that you are also an overthinker. So you're over here adding me into your list.
Yeah, they'll write a whole comment. This person will break down your art or whatever it is that you create and analyze it piece by piece. Sometimes I just hit latest first and I just see a brick wall. That shit just spawns in my face. And most of the time, these people are just straight up reaching. Now, you know, you're allowed to have your own shitty hyper-analyzed opinion, but just don't put it in a whole paragraph. Because I'm not reading all that, bro. And now we have the teacher's pet. You were all waiting for this one. The biggest op in the classroom. This dude will suck off the teacher. Get on your hands and knees at this point. Like, holy shit. They're the #1 dick rider of the teacher. Like, they're doing whole tricks on that shit. They'll snitch on you. They'll do whatever they can to get brownie points. Their whole existence is just to get brownie points from the teacher. They'll call you out for, quote, cheating even though you weren't. And I know you guys don't want to get caught by the teacher's pet, so watch this video right here about all the best ways to cheat in school. Go watch it now.